How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to MojoGrip. Mike here. Today I am doing a surprise live video, and just let me put this back on. If you're live with me, just say hi in the section, the chat section. And so if you see me looking to the side, my computer is right here, and I'm gonna look directly at the camera. Anyway, it's been a while since we did a live video, and I'm just gonna wait a little bit here. Just say what's up. Hey Mel. So I'm gonna try to cover as much as possible because honestly I really just wanted to catch up with y'all on what's going on in the background, and there's a ton going on. Just say hi, and please also let me know if you're able to hear me, if you're able to see me, and if you're able to hear me. I have my microphone to my side here. Steve Fisher, what's up? Ben Allen, thank you all for joining in. So as I said, it's been a while since I did a live video. I think the last one we did was maybe like 40,000 subs ago. So we've got some new people, and I feel the need to reintroduce myself as the guy behind the camera. So every new person who subscribed to MojoGrip, first of all, thank you all so much. And so today's video, man, I want to catch up. I want to catch up with y'all, let you know what's going on. Also, some updates on the airplane. I feel like I disappointed some viewers because we had a project set for this plane, and it was supposed to be done in July. But as you all can even fathom the type of year that we've had in 2020, if you are like me, you had a lot of big plans set up for this year. Things probably didn't work out as planned. So, well, I'm gonna check the chat again. Gary G, appreciate you tuning in, man. Johnny Williams from Texas, appreciate. Listen, guys, let me know where you're tuning in from, and just say what's up. Mike Morano, what's going on? Gary, okay, awesome. Audio sound is great. I got the feedback. Okay, so as I was saying, so the plans for this year kind of went sideways, but we're still making things happen. The airplane is gonna be finished. I promise. As a matter of fact, I'm home right now for like another 24 hours, and then I'm flying out again. So, and this has sort of been my life this entire year, where I would just have to get up and go based on if something opens up or not. But before I get to the airplane update, I wanted to also let you know some of the changes that's been happening on the channel itself. If you've been following recently, I created a second channel, which is the MojoGrip Clips channel. If you have not subscribed to that channel, go right now. I'm gonna wait. Go right now and go subscribe to MojoGrip Clips. And this channel is just have short 2-minute videos for those of you who don't have 10, 20 minutes to watch, a full video. So make sure you subscribe to that. Also, in the background, I've had to hire people to sort of run the channel. So I know YouTube is a little funny because it's YouTube. It's like you have to be the one, behind the camera. You also have to be the one to tell the story and edit in all that good stuff, right? But it can get overwhelming. As your channel grows, you got to do a lot of things. And for me, as you know, a lot of the contents that I get for this channel, it's not, I have to travel, so there's a lot of traveling involved, and then a lot of camera work, and then I have to edit, and so on and so forth. So moving forward, I had to hire an editor full time, and also somebody to manage and schedule videos. And the reason why I'm saying that, one, is to be transparent about the content. I'm still the one creating the content, so that's not going to change. But I do need your feedback, because as we're moving forward, and when I have other people doing certain tasks, I need you to let me know if it's good or if it's bad. If it's crappy, then obviously we got to change something. But if the videos are still good and you like watching them, I would love to know that. So that's why I wanted to put that out there. Also, I'm going to say hi to a few people. Sheldon, what's up? Michael Blade, appreciate you tuning in. Who else is here? I'm trying to see some familiar faces too. Tobin from Atlanta, thanks for tuning in. So we've got some new hires, and moving forward, that would be the case. And I think also it helps sort of automate the process where I can put out more videos. Right now, I'm doing between 2 and 3 videos a week, and I would like to do more. So with more help in hand, we can put out more videos. And then the other side, there's been a lot of questions about how YouTube makes money. So before we get to airplane stuff, and I read some of your comments, and some of them are like way off. Some of them are, overwhelmingly, it's been great feedback in the comment section. But some people can just be straight up assholes in the comment. Now that's the best word I can find for that. But I wanted to be transparent also on how the channel makes money. If you're a YouTuber or a creator, the way money is made is through ads and whatnot. And speaking of ads, I've seen some complaints also about the ads, and I should put it out there that I don't control the ads on YouTube. I don't also control what you see in the ads. That's Google. They control what ads they put on the videos, and the theme or topic of the ad. So if you see a specific ads and you like, this is not relating to airplanes, or this is not relating to the values set by Mike, then it's not me. That's just YouTube. But that is one way the channel makes money. As a matter of fact, that's the default way YouTube makes money for its creators. Other ways the channel makes money, we get sponsorship on and off. So if you see a shout out in a video for, say, Skillshare or CoFlight is a long-term partner actually. So they've been a partner. Sling Pilot Academy is a partner on the channel. So these are our sponsors, and on and off, I would take some sponsorship. And I'll be honest with you guys, there's been quite a few sponsors that I turned down, mainly because it wasn't a good fit. It was just way outside of aviation, or just men, or things that we would talk about, or relating to the topics we talk about on the channel. And then you have some people just lowball you and want to offer you chicken change. I tried to curate the right sponsorship, but that's another way that the channel makes money. And then also you've got the premium membership, which I set up through MojoGrip.net. If you're not a premium member yet, please consider becoming one. It's a great way to support the channel. So we've got on the main website, you can become an MVP there. And also, recently YouTube gave us a join button, so you can become a premium member on YouTube as well. And the benefits of that is you get content early, and you also get content that doesn't go public. So there's a lot of like interview stuff also in the background, and some kind of cuts that I don't feel so good showing on the channel, but for premium members you get to see those. So those are generally ways that the channel makes money. And also what I started doing recently, and I've talked about this in the past, where I think it was when there was a high demand to review a Velocity aircraft. And for those of you who have been following me for about a year or two, you kind of know what happened with that, where it was a situation where I scheduled the interview, and I scheduled the feature to go there. And again, we're talking, I have to be the one to pay for my travel, flight ticket, hotel. Also, I always rent cars. If I go out of town, I have to rent a car. And given, what you should also understand is, whenever I'm going to review an aircraft, it's usually at a small airport, which is like an hour or 2 hours away from the main port or the main airport. And so all those things happen. And I think it was from that experience where I had all these things set up, but it didn't happen. Last minute, there was a change in schedule or whatever. Long story short, it was like I just spent the money and I didn't get to do the video. And that's happened on and off over the years. And so what I am now doing is, for any aircraft manufacturer or distributor that reaches out to me or to the MojoGrip team, we now ask for a referral fee. So I want to be transparent about that, so that way, when you see a review on the channel, and for the most part, like, I am unbiased with all the airplane reviews that I do. I'm still an airplane fanatic, and I review what I see. Now, the only airplane I know that I'll probably bias with is the Sling, and that's because I'm gonna be flying a Sling. and so I'm naturally going to be biased to that aircraft because it's my plane. But everything else is going to be the same. I'm just going to review as I see it. But I think it's important for you, the viewer, to know that if you were to watch a video on MojoGrip right now and say you're interested in buying that aircraft, or you're just interested in information, and we send you to the referral, to the dealership or whatever the case may be, then we would get a referral fee. Okay, so it's important that you know that, and it's a way also to support the channel. And as I said, the reason why I'm starting to do this is partly to recoup the money that I would spend to travel and go make these videos. And now that I've hired people, so I've got the travel costs, and then I also have some overhead costs that goes with that. So those are, I guess, 4 or 5 ways that MojoGrip makes money, at least keep the light on. And as most of you know who started with me in the beginning of this thing, it was a passion, and now it's turning to, I have to look at it from a business standpoint, and that's partly why I had to hire some help, knowing that I can't do it by myself. And so I have to find ways to bring in the revenue and also pay the people that I hire. So I'm gonna take a pause there, and I'm gonna check out the chat section. And guys, please ask questions. I do this live videos because one, it's a way for us to catch up, but also if you have any questions for me, please go in the chat box and ask me. So some new people came in. Dave Brixer, you said 30-20. Okay, good. Let's see, more. Hey Gary G, I appreciate the love. Arnaldo, is that how you pronounce it? Hey, listen, man, if you want to come and pay for any of our costs, you're welcome to do that. Right. Hey, Steve from Mexico, I appreciate you. Enjoy. And guys, another thing is, and you can also leave in the comments, like I'm not so sensitive that if I saw like a critical feedback on a video, like I see that, and say for example, early on when I had really bad, I didn't have an external microphone, and people will say something about the sound, like I went out and bought sound equipment. So if you have a genuine feedback about a video or quality, let me know, because it's a way to improve the channel and the content on the channel as well. So Sheldon, you can contact me, Mike at MojoGrip.net. Michael Gray, if I can do a Cessna 441. I actually know somebody who owns a 441, so it's just we live in, like, our path has not crossed yet in terms of being in the same location, but I'll reach out and see if I could review that airplane. Now, speaking of airplane, update on the Mojo Sling build. If you are part of the mailing lists, I usually will send out emails and let you know some of the things that I don't share publicly on YouTube itself. So the last update that I posted about the airplane, we did the fitting for the wing, both the right and the left wing, and since then, this is what's been done. We've done the spray down with Corrosion X. I was supposed to get that on video for you guys, but I wasn't able to. Although there are some videos, I'll see if I can put something nice together, because I really wanted to explain that process. There's been a lot of questions around it, and it is a safety issue, and so I'm gonna see if I can get that out there for you. But we've done that, so the airplane has been sprayed down since the last update. Also, I did post an update recently about we're shipping all of the build to another airport in French Valley. Now, there were a lot of questions about that too. Now, the reason why you do that, for those of you who are either new to flying or to building, FAA has set of rules where you, whenever you're test flying an experimental aircraft, you can't be in a in a dense area. So if it's too populated or a city area, then you, for safety reasons, you shouldn't be flying an experimental around a populated area. So that's why they advise for you to find more like a desert or sort of less dense area or airspace. And so that's what we're doing. And if you look at French Valley compared to, say, Long Beach Airport or any other smaller airport in the area, it's less busy. There's less uh, civilization, I would say. I mean, there are people who live there, but there's less around. It's less dense, and that's why we're moving the airplane to French Valley, and so we'll be doing a test flight and the final build there. Now, here's some problems that we've ran into, and this is for anybody who is looking to build their own airplane. The building part can go one way or another, but when you get to where you have to deal with the FAA, if you're not doing things the right way or you made a mistake here or there, which was the case with us, we made one error on the paperwork, and that's been causing some just, it's been frustrating. I'll tell you, for this entire week, I've basically been on the phone and trying to chase tails and reaching out to people I know to help resolve this issue. So the plan, I should actually be in California right now. The plan was the airplane was going to be inspected this week, literally Thursday or Friday, and then we would start the test flight. But there was an issue with the registration where one of the names was wrong, and so I believe it under the builder's name. And so that small error is causing issues right now, because when we reached out to the FAA and the title agency, they're telling us that it could take up to 7 weeks to fix that problem. And 7 weeks is literally like waiting till the end of the year. And we're already, I mean, this is, let's say, July, August, September. We're 3 months behind already. So right now, I am really trying hard, and I'm praying that things work out and we're able to resolve this issue sooner than later. Because I can tell you right now, guys, the plane is ready to fly. We just need for the designee from the FAA to come inspect it, which again is part of the procedure. Once you build your plane, someone will come in, check all the stuff that you've done, inspect it, and then sign you off. You get the airworthiness certificate, and then you're able to go test flight the airplane. So that's where we're at with it. And so if you are subscribed to the website, at least the mailing list, I will update you on something new. And I'm flying out to California tomorrow, not tomorrow, Monday. And I'll let you guys know if anything changes there. Now I'm gonna answer some questions. First, John Williams, am I gonna get my instrument rating? Absolutely. That's literally the next step. I already started working on it, and again, nothing has gone according to plan this year. So, but it's the next phase. Once you guys see the plane flying, you'd also see part of my instrument rating, because the goal was always finish the plane and then get my instrument in the airplane. And I advise anyone to do this if you're going to be flying a particular make and model for a long time and you want to get your instrument rating. It makes sense to get your rating in the airplane that you're going to be flying, just from a safety standpoint. Um, I think I answered Sheldon's question. Guys, you can contact me, Mike at MojoGrip.net. And speaking of, so contacting me, I get a lot of emails on a daily basis, and I do want to put this out there that if you reached out to me in the past and perhaps you didn't get a response, or maybe I responded and then it sort of fell off, I I don't want you to take it personal, because I know sometimes in the past I've taken it personal when I reach out to people or other creators, and I don't hear anything back. Understand that for me, at least, I'll speak for myself. So usually when I check my email, it's always late at night, and I would try to respond to some things. And I would, for all of us to communicate better. Usually, if an email is like two, three, four paragraphs, I would just put a note on it that I'm gonna read it later. But if it's a one line, two line, I'm quick to read it. Or if you put a nice grabbing title like, okay, I know what this email is about, I'll quickly read it and respond probably immediately. But if it's an email that's, you know, more conversational, oftentimes I would just mark it to read later, and then guess what? I never get to read it later because by the time I get to it the next day or the day after that, it gets lost. So that's my excuse. If you reached out to me, but another trick is if you reach out to me once and you don't hear anything back, reach out again. I've had that happen where someone was trying to get in contact with me and they had to email me multiple times for me to see it. So I would say that's a good way for us to keep in touch. But my email, mike@mojogrip.net. Okay, next. Ronaldo, we need to check the Lantern Mooney here in San Antonio. You know, a while back, I was reached out to. I don't know if it was somebody from Mooney or somebody who used to work there, and we were communicating about doing a feature on the new Mooney Acclaim, but for whatever reason, that conversation died. And so I will like to check out the Mooney and see what they're up to. With the company, it's sort of been up and down, but I will like to feature it if I get the opportunity. Just wondering, Bayani, just wondering if SBs and ADs included already in each kit so they could be included in the bill. I'm not sure what all the abbreviation is, but if you're talking about airworthiness directives, um, if I don't think that's included in the kit. Usually, and I could be wrong about this, so take it with a grain of salt. If you're building an experimental, um, the way I see AEDs is they come after the fact. So if you build, or there's a couple of airplanes that's already built, and then there was a problem or maybe an accident happens, then that would prompt the FAA and safety department to look into that particular make and model, and they might issue an AD for it. So I hope that answers your question. Hey, Dan Piper Pilot, if you are looking to sell your Cherokee Cruiser, reach out. Just email me at mike@mojogrip.net. So that's another thing. I guess I should share this publicly. There's a lot of times that people will reach out to me to either they're looking to buy an airplane or they're looking to sell one. Now, generally speaking, I talk to people in my network and we're able to either find a buyer or a seller for your plane. So if you are looking to sell your plane, definitely reach out to me, mike@mojogrip.net. And if you're looking to buy a plane also, reach out, and I'll reach out to my network and see, if we can help you out. Can I do a review on the 337 if I can find one? Man, it's a lot of questions. Malone, do you pay taxes to California for building the aircraft in that state? The answer is yes and no. So from what I understand, if the manufacturer, or say, let's say you're not building. Let's say you're just buying a plane from a dealership that's based in California, then yes, you have to pay California taxes, and it's pretty high. I moved out of California because of the taxes. So the answer is yes. Corrosion. Christopher says Corrosion X smells like bananas. Maybe. Hey, Mike Morano, just give some time. It's coming. Hey, Kevin from Denver, appreciate you tuning in. Scott, listen, Scott, I'll probably talk to you in person. There's a lot to break down, but it was a very silly mistake. Scott is asking what was the mistake on the paperwork. It was just I had so when you register your aircraft, once it's finished building, you have an application that you fill out for the FAA. You have an affidavit also that you fill out, and when you filled, I believe in the affidavit, it would ask for the owner or the builders of the airplane. And for me, my registration, I'm also registering under my company's name. So I think the error was we had my company's name. I actually put my name as the builder, as you're supposed to. But then there was an error with the title company. My name was crossed out. It's a long story. I'm gonna talk to you about it in person, but basically it was a name change issue. And now that there's a different name, and then we asked the designee to come check out the plane, and they're like, well, the records I have here doesn't match what's in the registry, and that's what we're trying to change right now, is to make sure everything matches so we can move forward. Um, and do I find U.S. regulations complicated? And if I want to look at French laws, um, I'm not sure what you mean specifically, but if you're speaking of aviation more specifically, I mean, it's different perspective. You can think U.S. laws are a little complicated, but from other international pilots that I've spoken to, they actually prefer. They think it's more lenient, and less expensive to fly here in the U.S. than anywhere else in the world. Now, does that mean that we don't have some unnecessary rules and regulations? No, I think some things can be done better. Just like this situation that I'm in, where the wait time is really long to have something simple change. I think things can run more efficiently. So, okay. Alex Raheem, is there a chance you see the new build? Absolutely. So it depends on where you are. So guys, the what I'm planning to do is once. So again, I'm heading to California next week. Uh, we'll do the put the plane completely together and then go through the inspection and then do the test flight. Now, weather will determine, how quickly we can get the 40 hours out of the way. But once that's done, then I'm flying the plane across the country back to the East Coast. Depending on how early we get done, I plan to stop at different cities. And if you're interested in seeing the plane in person, just let me know. And if you're along the path that we're going to be flying, I could possibly stop by. But you have to let me know. Let's see. Sheldon asked how many hours do I have? Currently I have about 160 hours. And you said how many did it take me to how long did you have do you have a certificate? Oh, so how many hours do I have and how long have I had my certificate? I think that's how I read it. So I have 160 currently. I've been a pilot for 4 years. So I got my license back in 2016. Jonathan asked, "Will the airplane have three-axis autopilot? Is the yaw control with the autopilot necessary?" Honestly, I don't want to give you an answer on that yet. I have to find out myself also. And given guys, I've almost never used the autopilot whenever I'm flying. Although I know once I start doing long cross country flights, autopilot is there to help out. And also in instrument condition, or if you're flying instrument, you probably want to make good use of autopilot so you don't tire your hands or your feet. So, but I'll ask and confirm the answer before I answer. I don't want to put anything that's wrong in public. Hey, David Beal, please come on down. So I'll update on the channel, but more particularly with the emails. Again, go sign up for the email newsletter on MojoGrip.net. It's free. So I'll update you guys what's going on, and if you want to stop by, please by all means. Um, will I be in DeLand, Florida for the Light Sport Expo? If that's later this year, probably not. I'm literally booked for the entire year. Opium. Good question. Opium is asking, where's the striker? So if you followed me from day one, Mojo Grip actually started as like a moto vlog channel, which was me on a motorcycle, the Yamaha Striker. And Opium, I sold that bike a long time ago, man. I sold it back in 2016. No, 2017, right before I moved back to the East Coast. So it's gone. I'm sorry. Um, I was looking at aviation surveillance cameras. I wonder if you can install one so I can see how the videos would look. Addicted to you know what. Really cool cool tag name. You want me to install a surveillance camera? I mean, I can make. I think we featured one on the channel before, but this was more for like commercial grade, video, surveillance video. So you may check out that video. But in terms of me installing one, I don't know if I'll do that. Hey, Paul from Fayetteville, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Thank you. Were you able to get a look at the paper show Panthera? Oops, I lost my scroll. Scott, Mike asked me about this, and you will not have to pay. Okay, we'll talk about that. Um, See you, bud. All right, I'm gonna try to scroll quicker through the questions. Hey, Gus, just do your thing, man. Make sure you get to the finish line. It can get frustrating. I should say this, I feel like a lot of the videos have gone from more because in the past I've made a lot of videos where I talk more about the training experience and things to look out for, and also ways for you to get in the cockpit and fly more. And I think I'm gonna start doing more of those videos because someone like Gus, he's starting his pilot journey, and really that's what I love to hear when people are watching these videos and they're like, I could do this too. I've always wanted to do this. So I want you guys to please, man. It's like anything 2020 has taught me is that tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So if you have something more particularly, if you've always wanted to fly, please start. Just go for a demo flight. And I know once my plane is done, I plan to, for anybody who wants to see the plane, get in it, whatever, you have the opportunity to do that. And I want to encourage anyone who's interested in flying to please start today. And find a local school. I've made a series of videos on the best way to go about searching for the right school. Um, Obviously, to me, I'm still somewhat disappointed in the way flight schools are run. I'll be very honest about that. One, because of my own experience, but also, over the years, people have reached out to me personally, and they have this great excitement to start their pilot journey, and then a few weeks later, they update me on what's going on, and it kind of falls into the same basket of some of the crap that I had to go through. And I'm not saying this to discourage you, but I want you to go into this with your eyes open. Understand that flight schools are, a lot of it is mom and pop shops, and I hate to say it, a lot of it is about just making money. And oftentimes it gets frustrating. Obviously, weather will have an impact on how well you fly or how often you fly, but also you have things where aircraft is down for maintenance, or you're not able to schedule an airplane in time because the schedule is full, things like that. And I think we can have a much more efficient way, a better way to run a flight schools. But that said, all of that said, you should still get started if you are looking, if you always thought about flying. Please go ahead and get started. All right, next question. Cirrus Flyer parachute. How much did the parachute influence your choice? Chris, I initially wanted a parachute, but I'll be honest, because of the extra cost. So, for in the Sling TSI, for example, it's an additional $10,000 if you are to put a parachute in the plane. And I was contemplating if I would get one or not. I remember doing the numbers before, I started this entire process, and really, it was my wife was like, if you're gonna go the experimental route, then you should have the parachute. So really, it was more for her sake that decided to go with the parachute, and I think it's a great addition, because in the past, I've had my criticism on parachute being on board, but more particularly with the Cirrus brand, and I took that video down because I felt like it didn't represent the Cirrus brand in a good light. But in short, what I stated in that video was, early on, when Cirrus started promoting their SR20 and 22s, it was really to a lot of new pilots. And you had quite a few crashes that happened because a lot of pilots were not really being safe. One, they weren't being safe because they just assumed that the parachute will always be there to save them. And also, they didn't receive the proper training on how to use the parachute. So I thought my conclusion in that video was that having a parachute gives you a false sense of safety. But I don't see that anymore. At least I don't think like that anymore. Obviously, Cirrus has done a great job in fixing that problem, training their pilots on how to properly fly the airplane, and also how to use the parachute system. So for anyone who is either buying an airplane or trying to build one, I would definitely encourage you that if you can afford to add it, I mean, why not? The question is, why not add it? It's a safety tool, and it's better to have it than not. So that's the way I see it now. Oh no, that question was from Cirrus Flyer. And Chris, Andy, I appreciate the love. Thank you. Sheldon Murray, how is the Sling with only 140 horsepower can't Sheldon, I mean, we could talk about this. You if you're in Here's the thing. Go look at the one of the first videos I did with the Sling TSI, and look how we loaded that plane up. And it did fly. It flew, and it flew really well. So Sheldon is asking, how is the Sling with only 140 horsepower can take four grown adults, but a Cessna 172 with 180 horsepower can only take three adults? It's called technology. It's called advancement in tech. And I've been a critic in some way, shape, or form for the conventional planes, the Cessnas, the Pipers. One of the reasons that I'm personally on the Sling train is because, look, guys, outside of YouTube, I am a total nerd. I am a tech guy. I love new technology. I love modern. And when I look at the aviation space right now, Sling and the Airplane Factory are one of the few players who are actually innovating. And I mean innovating, not just like, take the Sling TSI to the side. I know for sure right now things that are happening. I may have not shared it publicly. Right now, the Sling TSI in a few years there will be an all electric version of it, meaning no motor gas. no 100 low lead, all electric. And so I know that's in the works. I know that there's a turboprop engine that's being built to be fitted in a Sling TSI. So when I know of all this really cool innovation, it makes me feel good, honestly, to be building a Sling TSI, because I know these guys and I know that they're not just in there to do things the old way. Now, compare that to the Cessnas, where the 172, the 182, they're pretty much using the same engine, very similar body frame. The only difference you would see in a 2020 Cessna 172 and a 1968 172 is the interior space and the avionics. Everything else, everything else is the same. The engine is older than you, or probably older than your parents. So there's no innovation whatsoever, and that's partly why you would get the same useful load as you did 20, 30, 50 years ago, excuse me, as compared to a Sling TSI. But really, to answer your question, the reason why 140 horsepower can take more is because, one, aerodynamically, the plane is built to be efficient, okay? And it does use lighter parts. So a 172 naturally would be heavier than a Sling TSI. So that's given. But also think about it. Also, the 180 horsepower engine is also heavier in weight, and you would need more fuel to power that thing up, which also means more weights. The more fuel you put in your plane, the more weight you carry. Now, compared to a lighter airframe, a smaller engine, and then you need less gas. So all of that together, and then you've got aerodynamically a much speedier plane. All of that put together makes the TSI a more modern plane, I would say. So I said a lot, but I hope that answers your question. Okay. Hey, from Brazil. Thank you for that. Adding to parachute safety. Okay, that's not a question. So Alex asked, any update on when the high wing Sling TSI coming out? Actually, I have a video right now that's scheduled to come out sometime next week. Members, paid members already have seen the video. I did an interview with the founder of Sling, Mike Blythe. He's also, and initially the Sling High Wing. For those of you who don't know, there's a Sling High Wing also in the works, and they already started building it. The plan was to have it shown this year at Oshkosh, but as you know, Oshkosh didn't happen. But I know for a fact that it's gonna be flying either by the end of the year or early next year, and then depending on the time frame, you should be able to order the kits in 2021. But I'll keep you guys posted. But look out for that interview. It's a pretty short interview, maybe 15 minutes long. I'll upload that sometime next week. The market to be. How is Sam Chewie doing? I think he's doing well. You'd have to ask him. Sam Chewie is another dope aviator on YouTube. You guys make sure you check him out. Sam typically covers more of the commercial side of things compared to MojoGrip. Like what I do mainly is just like private and general aviation. He does more of the commercial stuff. Okay, so I see there are no more questions. So guys, again, I hope I've covered. Let me look at my notes here. So I've talked about the update on the plane, how MojoGrip makes money. I've talked about that. Oh, so moving forward, also, if you don't follow me on Facebook, a lot of people who watch the channel also follow me on Facebook. And oftentimes, both on Facebook and Instagram, I get people who tag me on videos. Could be a crash video or just any random video that's out there that's aviation related. So what I thinking I'll start doing is, if you tag me in a video, I'm gonna start making commentary videos, because I see some of these videos, especially the crash videos that I watch, like there's a lot of things we can learn from those. And I've made some commentary videos in the past, but it's not been like a staple on the channel. So I think I'll start making those because it's easier for me. Also, I just sit in front of the camera and I explain to you what's going on. So moving forward, if you find a really cool video, either, hopefully it's not a crash, but something cool that's either an airplane, helicopter, whatever, make sure you send me or tag me in it, and I'll try to explain that video on the channel. Hopefully you guys like it. Okay, last question, and then I'm gonna head out. Hey, Savage Viking, thank you. And it's because of you I wanted to get on live, because I knew that there's been some new subs, or maybe older subs, that didn't haven't seen me on live. So appreciate you tuning in. Robert M. Robert M. asks, outside of the performance, how does the TSI and the Sling 2 compare? So performance, obviously you get better with the TSI, but cabin space also. So for me, and I recently just started flying the Sling 2. The Sling 2 is great if you are either a sport pilot or you don't need that much room or that much useful load. The Sling 2 also, I feel, is a little bit lighter. Now, given, I swear to you, when I first flew the Sling 2, I thought I would be pushed around a lot, but that airplane can hold its own, even on a fair, windy day. It was perfectly fine when I did a cross-country flight my last time in LA. So in terms of controls, I would say I don't see much difference, honestly. They're all both light controls. I don't feel like the Sling 4, I mean the TSI, is heavier. Honestly, both planes feels like it's sporty. So it's pretty light on the touches. What else did I notice that was different in the Sling 2? The cabin space, obviously, I think you get more room and even more headroom in the Sling TSI compared to the Sling 2. Useful load is more. What else? Now, the Sling 2s, except you're buying one for your own personal use, typically the ones that I've seen in training, in the training environment, they may not come with a parachute. So that's another difference. Most of the Sling TSIs that's been built right now do have parachutes on board because the owner opts to have them in. And then what else? What else? I think that's mostly it. I think the Sling 2 can fit even somebody bigger than me. But if you are on the bigger side or you want more useful load, you can't go wrong with the Sling TSI. Also, the Sling 2 is at least probably $100,000 cheaper than the TSI, so you have that as well. All right. Man, more questions came as I was asking that. I'm answering that. Sharon, are you night rated? Technically, yes. When you have your private pilot license, you can fly at night. I think night flying just has to come with practice. Think of it, it's actually better if you're instrument rated to go fly at night, because you may use your instrument more often. So once you have your private pilot license, you can go fly at night. But to be proficient in it, you have to practice more and be safe whenever you're flying. Okay, so that is all of it. I don't see any more interesting questions. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, please sign up for the newsletter on mike@mojogrip.net. And I know, like, again, I read your comments. There's been more requests to review older airplanes. And I understand that not everyone out there watching is interested in, like, brand new stuff. So I'm going to make the effort now. I'm reaching out to people. And I have a list of some of the airplanes that you've requested for. So I hear you. And we're going to have more older airplanes, more affordable airplanes on the channel. I will start making some commentary videos, so I hope you guys like it. And I've got my flight simulator in front of me, so I'm gonna start making videos on that. As a matter of fact, if I don't make one today, I may make one in a month, because I'm going out of town for quite a bit before I get back in town. So you guys look out for that. And if you have any questions, leave in the comments. Reach out to me, Instagram, Facebook, email. You can reach out to me. And make sure you support the channel. Thank you all so much for supporting everyone who is paid to be a member on MojoGrip. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to give a last shout out to everyone who supported my build through the GoFundMe. I know I felt some type of way starting the campaign. And although we didn't raise all the money that I had in mind, but we raised about $11,000 so far, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to all of you who use your hard-earned money to support what I was trying to do. And I know that also because I remember when we first launched the campaign, I received a lot of criticism for it, and I understand that for some viewers, maybe your experience have been people ask you for money for a particular project and then it never happens. And I've read quite a horror stories about that, where people defraud others by asking for money and not do anything. But as you guys can see, the campaign was to build an airplane, pay for the build assist, and that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what's happening. The airplane will be finished. Again, COVID and just a bunch of stuff is, we've had to work around it. But just stay tuned and I will keep you guys posted. And I'll check the chat box one last time. And that is it. Thank you all for watching, man. Make sure you subscribe if this is your first time. Give this video a thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to edit the title and a bunch of stuff later on. And stay tuned. I upload Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. And I might start uploading another day of the week. Alright, stay tuned, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Peace.